For today's presentation, I was asked to sort of talk about what's happening with Norco, what's happening in the dairy industry, and where there might be some opportunities for local landholders. So to start off, I'll just give a quick overview of what Norco actually is. Some may know, but Norco is a 100% Australian farmer-owned cooperative. We have 330 members who are also shareholders, and they farm on 120 farms throughout northern New South Wales and Queensland, from Gloucester in the south to about Gympie in the north. Annual milk production in the region for Norco is about 220 million litres of milk, and our history dates back 120 years to 1895, which we believe makes Norco the oldest Australian dairy cooperative that's still going. Norco is governed by a board consisting of 6 elected farmer directors, 2 from each region. We have 4 main business units, being Norco Foods, which are the processing sites that produce milk, creams, other dairy products and ice cream. The milk supply division handles all the sourcing of milk from the farms and the logistics from the farms to the factories. And Norco Rural and Agribusiness, such as our rural stores, feed mills and those businesses. Sorry, just going back, just a bit, as a cooperative, it's quite public knowledge and something that we're quite proud of, but our turnover for last year was $510 million. EBITDA for this year will be around about 10.7 million, and we have 760 employees. And the important part about the financial performance is all of that profit goes back to the farmers that are the members. So this is just a bit of a map highlighting where Norco operates from a foods business perspective. We've got 3 main processing sites: Labrador on the Gold Coast, just north of the border, Lismore, which is our ice cream plant, and Raleigh, about 40 minutes up the road, which is another milk processing site, but also does creams, custards and those sort of products. And of course, everybody after today will know where the Macleay Valley Food Bowl is. So at Norco, we're very focused on growth at the moment to maximise our farmers' returns. And if we look at the last 3 years, we've gone from 370 million to 510 million in total turnover, and we're forecasted to hit 570 million in this coming year. So that's about 55% growth over those 4 years if we can hit that 570 million mark, which we're quite confident about. Some of the principles that are contributing to that growth, first and foremost, quality. So quality in everything that we do, our products, the service that we provide. A diverse range of innovative premium products, developing high value export markets, and obviously as an Australian farmer-owned cooperative, we're benefiting and fostering the increasing consumer awareness of consumers valuing a connection with a producer and most importantly also a connection with supporting local produced product. Award-winning products, and this is a little bit of recent news, but our white milk was judged to be the premium milk in New South Wales at the recent DIAA Awards, and also one of our flavoured milks picked up the champion milk overall. So you'll see this starting to appear on some of the packaging. There'll actually be the gold labels, similar to wines, and that comes about through the Dairy Industry Association of Australia providing grading and contests that award these medals to products that meet the requirements. So at the recent DIAA Awards last week, Norco picked up 5 champion awards, 11 gold and 29 silver. So that's one of the best results that we've had for quite a few years. Incidentally, the white milk was the champion nationally 2 years ago, and last year this real iced chocolate milk was the premium flavoured milk in Australia. On the new product front, we've just recently launched lactose-free. Cream on top is the old cream on the top non-homogenised milk, and now also a pure Jersey milk. So we're very focused on meeting that demand that's there from consumers for premium products And obviously, as a farmer-owned cooperative, we want to cater for that market to maximise the returns. So what's the market saying? You know, in the last 12 months, we've experienced double-digit growth in the route trade. So that's everything from corner stores, small supermarkets, cafes, anything outside of the major retailers. And that part of the business is serviced by 85 franchisees that are based between Sydney and the Sunshine Coast area. And what we're seeing also is, particularly in this region, is very strong growth, and from the mid-north coast south, because consumers are tending to want to purchase a locally produced product. And you know, in this area for the Macleay, Norco is the only locally produced brand of milk available, and we're starting to see consumers really recognise that. Most of the milk that's bottled in New South Wales and Queensland is bottled in the capital city, so Norco is the only brand of milk that's bottled outside of the major metropolitan areas. Ice cream, which is based at Lismore, we've seen tremendous growth in ice cream, and that's come about through the domestic market, and our main customers are Coles, Woolworths and Aldi, and more recently through export. We've been exporting to Japan and the USA for quite a while. But more recently, China and Taiwan are coming on board. So this is making Norco the largest contract manufacturer of ice cream in the country. Just getting back to the map and to explain what's happening in the industry so that we can sort of establish what is going to drive some growth for the dairy industry. If we consider in recent years, Queensland has had three main milk processors. Parmalat, which is the Paul's brand that you might be familiar with. It's owned by a French company called Lactalis. Line, which is the dairy farmers brand, is owned by a Japanese company, and Norco. So that's the three major brands in the region. Last year, Queensland consumed 120 million litres more than was actually produced in that state. And most of that shortfall was taken up by milk moving north from New South Wales and some from Victoria. This year, New South Wales and Queensland combined, it'll be the first time ever that there will be a deficit. So there'll be 20 million litres short supply in New South Wales and Queensland. So that's just the difference between what is actually produced and what's consumed. And another plug for the food bowl. So why export? And I've pinched this slide off Bruce Brown. Neither of us knew that the other one had it in. But as Bruce mentioned earlier, Asia is a really exciting place, and you might think it's a bit crazy that we've got a shortfall of milk and yet we're talking about export. But the main driver for us for export is return. With the growth that's occurred in China, there's a hugely wealthy middle and upper class that demand a premium product and are prepared to pay for it. So while we've got $1 a litre milk in Australia, we can get higher returns by exporting it, so that's why export's a focus. So with export, who's our target customer? And when we think of China, we usually think of images like this, but this is actually our target customer, and it's probably one of the most powerful sectors in as far as consumers are concerned in Asia at the moment. I'll go into that in a little more, but this is Guangzhou, so in southeastern China, and there's more people in this city than in the entire country of Australia. And with this growth has come tremendous wealth. And this is a picture I took in January when I was over there. I was amazed at the display of wealth through, these are McLaren cars running up and down the street, which is just incredible. So our target customer is the Tiger Mum, or what we refer to as the Tiger Mum. And she's 25 to 35 years of age. She's married with 1.3 children. Grandparents look after the kids. You might wonder where the 0.3 came from.
Is this in Australia or overseas?
No, this is in China. Yep. So through the relaxation of the one-child policy, those that can afford are tending to have more children, and that's why we're starting to see this focus on kids and more than one child coming in. She's well educated. She's got a university degree. She's a career woman. She's driven to be successful, and she has a high disposable income. She's very conscious about her social status and class, and that's what we're seeing emerge in China now as a real class system, and a lot of the purchasing decisions are made with their status or how they're seen in mind. She spends an average of 6.5 hours per week online shopping or researching products, so she's very well informed, and her purchase decisions are based on the reputation of brands, and that comes about after a lot of research. Driving those purchasing decisions are concerns over food quality, safety, and the environment. When we say the environment, not the impact that the product has on the environment, but where it's been produced, and they're very conscious of pollution and tend to focus very heavily on Australia and New Zealand because of the clean green image. She's very health conscious, so she's very focused on having a healthy diet for the family, and the children are the highest priority. Preference to purchase imported products, and she does that at least 4 times a week, and that's a result of the research that she does, and this perception that the imported product, particularly from Australia and New Zealand, is of higher quality and higher food safety standard. Excuse me. So these are a few pictures that I took while I was over there earlier this year, and this is our target customer, the Tiger Mum. They spend a lot of time in upmarket supermarkets and always shop with their kids. If they're not working, they're with the kids. If they're not with their kids, if the parent isn't with the kids, then it's generally the grandparents. These are some of the supermarkets that our target customer shops in. So they're very high-end, exclusive supermarkets. These are 2 of the 4 supermarkets that Norco products now in. So City Super and Olé. All of these supermarkets have one thing in common. They're very exclusive, very class orientated, heavily weighted towards imported product, and quite expensive. So when we started in China, we took the view that we wanted to be sure that everything was going to work out okay, and we didn't want to place our brand at risk. So we happened to have another brand, which was the New South Wales milk brand. So we launched this product into China. At the time, Chinese standards for testing and clearance through customs and quarantine took about 14 days, which meant that by the time that the product was produced, shipped to Sydney, flown across, and then cleared all the requirements, 14 days had already lapsed, and there's only 19 days on fresh milk as a shelf life. So it was never going to work by the time we could get it into a supermarket to have enough shelf life left on the product for it to be purchased. So Norco and our logistics partners negotiated an express clearance channel through customs and quality inspection for this New South Wales milk brand, and that brought the time from production to hitting the consumers down to 7 days, which made it feasible to take fresh milk in. And that was after we developed an air freight solution to be able to actually get the product there under 4 degrees all the way through the whole system. Initially, we launched the New South Wales milk brand in an online platform, so it was online purchases and home delivery, and that was basically to test the market and to test the whole regime around actually physically getting the milk there and into the marketplace. One of the things that we were quite concerned about was counterfeiting and how we could actually guarantee that we had a genuine Norco produced product getting to the consumer. So we adopted this technology, and this is, if we look at this, it looks like a QR code, and some may be familiar with QR codes, but when you scan a QR code, it takes you to a website. This is called Authenticated, and Authenticated is a similar principle. You have a smartphone app, you scan that barcode with your phone, and it'll take you to a secure website, and every single bottle or every single code is unique. So if we've got 6,000 bottles in a shipment, there'll be 6,000 unique codes, one on every bottle. So what that does is that allows the consumer to scan the product and then be quite confident that there's no unauthorised counterfeiting or distribution of the product. Each bottle has that unique code, and it takes the consumer back to a secure page that identifies when that milk was produced, when it's due to expire, that it is a genuine product produced by Norco. It offers us as brand managers the opportunity to have an effective way to track and trace our product. So we can actually see through GPS technology where that product is being scanned. So if we all of a sudden see our product being scanned in Harbin in Heilongjiang province, and we know we don't have a distributor there, well, we know that somebody's doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. And this technology also gives us the opportunity to deliver more information to the consumer. So when they scan this code, not only do they get the quality aspects of that particular product, and they can be confident that it is authentic, but we can also use that as a promotional tool as well to deliver more information to them about other Norco products or new developments that might be occurring. So just talking about our channels to market, after we launched the New South Wales Milk brand on the online platform, now that occurred back in March last year. March this year, we saw the Norco brand itself go into China. And obviously we've done that since we're confident about all the cold chain logistics and the acceptance of the product in the marketplace. So in January we appointed some new distributors in addition to our original distributor, and we've focused very heavily on Tier 1 cities and the exclusive supermarkets in those cities. So in March we launched in Guangzhou. Today we're in Shanghai, Shenzhen, Nanjing, Ningbo and Dalian, and we've got plans to release in other cities very shortly. So it's still although we've been exporting for 12 months, it's still very early days, and our volumes initially grew on the online platform to a level and stagnated, and we looked at other opportunities and other markets and or channels to market, and that's where we've come up with the idea of targeting the exclusive supermarkets, and so we're anticipating that we'll see our sales start to jump again now. To meet the demand, we've commenced what's called Project Fresh, which is an expansion of our Raleigh factory just north of here. That involves putting in a new filler, which has just arrived from North America. This will be up and running in August. Stage 1, it'll be an investment of about $1.9 million, and that's for the new filler line and also some additional cold storage capacity. And we've got plans over the next few years to invest about $4 million in the Raleigh plant, and that's the only plant, including Sydney, that we're aware of that there's any capital expenditure going on apart from our other plant at Labrador. The dairy industry has been fairly stagnant for the last 10 years, and production has declined or stagnated as demand has increased. So we're at a stage where we really need to see some investment back in the industry and provide a more secure future for our members. This plant will give us an additional 20 million litre capacity at Raleigh, and most of that will be taken up by export in the next little while. So from an industry's perspective, we've got an increasing domestic demand driven by our Coles contract for Queensland, Northern New South Wales down to Port Macquarie. The route trade growth that I mentioned earlier, the growth in ice cream, and now our growth in export. We've got increasing processing capacity through our investments, and we're in an industry that has a production shortfall going forward. So we need more milk. And that's where the opportunity for local landholders might come in. And if we think about the local dairy industry, our numbers have declined fairly significantly over the last 14, 15 years. But those that are remaining are producing similar levels of milk to what was produced 15 years ago. And that's been done through expansion and more intensive production and better technology. One thing that is a limiting factor is land, and in particular land available adjacent to dairy farms. Obviously we can't truck dairy cows around to different properties to produce milk, but to grow feed is one of the limiting factors. So there's an opportunity, we think, for local landholders to invest in, or not invest, but to partner with dairy farmers to provide agistment for replacement heifers, leasing land for cropping or dry stock, and also contract growing forage crops and pasture for silage. This is a little bit of an example. This is out at Euroka. So this is a property that we worked up for the first time this year. We don't own the property. We went into an arrangement with the landholder. We planted maize or corn. This is about 4 months later when it was due to be harvested. We bring a contractor in, cut the silage, and then it's delivered to the farm, where it's packed down in these concrete bunkers and covered with plastic. And so that feed is then on the farm and can be used to supplement the pasture-based production system that we have. Now that's just an example of what we've done on our farm in the last 12 months, but you'll find that most farmers are looking for additional sources of feed and fodder, and this is one alternative that they may have if they can find landholders that are willing to partner with them. Triticale is another crop that farmers are interested in using for silage production. So you may have some land that's not quite the greatest quality land, but that's where triticale comes in. That triticale can be grown on slightly poorer soils. Some landholders might have concerns about going into silage production because they might be concerned about, if we get a bad, wet period, that they don't get the opportunity to get it off. Crops like triticale give us about 3 different options. So we can either take it off before it gets into head as silage, if we've got wet weather predicted. If it goes past that stage, it can be taken off as whole crop silage, including the grain, or if it goes past that, it can come off as what's called headlage, which means they only take the very top little part of the plant which contains the grain, and it gets processed up and put into silage, or the 4th stage is obviously right through to grain. Once again, this is out at Euroka. This is a landholder that wanted to have nice green paddocks all the time, no weeds. So he planted lucerne, and the farmers come in and cut that lucerne and take it back to the dairy farms for silage. And anybody around the Macleay would see lots of these. The important thing with round bales is dairy farmers don't feed silage or round bales only through winter or when times are tough. You'll find that most dairy farmers rely on a certain quantity of purchased feed year round, and that's to drive production. So quality is paramount with making round bale silage, and to get a good product in the end to present to the cow, we've got to have a really good quality product going in, and most importantly the right sort of product. So ryegrasses, oats, lucerne, clovers, the more high digestible, higher quality pastures are better suited for dairy production through the use of round bar silage.